Hey everyone, it's Trevor Daly with MagMod. Hey, I'm excited for another How I Shot It episode. Like I told you guys last week, we're going to be doing a lot more of these more frequently, maybe two, maybe three a week if we can possibly get it in. There's so many of you talented photographers out there that I'm just excited to feature more and more of you. So thanks for joining me this week. I also just want to share just a couple things real quick before I introduce our extremely talented photographer and go over these images. You guys are going to be blown away. I absolutely love the photos we're going to talk about today. But real quick, I just want to mention on Instagram, if you haven't seen already, Jason Vincent is doing a little Instagram takeover this week on our Instagram page. So if you don't already follow it, be sure to go check out MagNetMod on Instagram. That's the handle, MagNetMod, and you'll be able to see Jason Vincent as he's sharing some really cool reels and stories and photos. So definitely jump on there and check him out. We already got people jumping in. We got Mommy. I hope I'm saying that right. Mommy, I love it. She's saying, hey. So again, if you guys, if this is your first time joining us here on the Facebook page, if you are watching, let us know. We love bringing your comments in. We love hearing where you're watching from. We love those likes. We love the comments, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and so you get to know when these videos get posted. So with that, you guys, I am excited to bring in our guest for today. This is Mr. Garren Poirier. Garen, I told you I was gonna mess it up. Garren Poirier.
Poirier, anything you want. If you want to go, you just go crazy. Yeah.
I love it. You just come up with whatever you like. I like it. I like it. Look at this. We already got Mauricio. He's tuning in from Costa Rica. We got Gabby. She's saying, "Yay, Garen." She must. Does Gabby know Garen?
Gabby's my second shooter all the time. She's the best.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad she's here. We got Chris is watching from Tucson. We got Michael's watching. We got Declan is watching. So got all these people tuning in. Hey, Garen, before I jump in and show even more people tuning in, can you tell us where you are based out of?
So based out of 8 months out of the year, we're based out of Vermont. That's in New England for people that don't know New England. But yeah, we spent 8 months there, shoot mostly all around New England and mostly about 70% in Vermont. And then in the wintertime, we live in Scottsdale, Arizona. So we do a little snowbird back and forth.
That's awesome. Garen, you already have quite a few fans. I'm seeing all these people. Woohoo, Garen. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, Robin's giving a little thumbs up. Oh, we got another person kind of heckling here. Just here to heckle.
Yep. Love it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad these people can join us. And guys, if you have any questions as we're talking about some of these photos, by all means, feel free to jump in and ask those questions, and we'll try to insert them in the show as we go. Garen, before we jump into these photos, though, real quick, I also want to make sure that we show everyone your Instagram page and your website so they can find you. So, guys, here is Garen's Instagram page. Be sure to go check him out. Guarantee_photography. I love that play on words, by the way. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Incredible images. Like seriously, I'm so excited. And guys, I'm excited to show you the photos that I get. Like I said earlier, that were photos we're going to talk about today. Garen, I didn't know that you're actually spent time in Arizona. I know you mentioned that in your introduction there.
Yep.
But I just think that's so cool. Like these locations I see, I'm like, oh, I've been here. I've shot in this area, you know? So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. We love the desert. Obviously, we love Vermont as well. Wintertime in Vermont can be a little mean. And I'm a big golfer, so I love to get out of the cold. So we spend our winters here and enjoy ourselves and, shoot a little bit out here. Like I said, with people we meet and things like that. So yeah, we spend most of our time in Vermont and New England. So
That's really cool. Well, Garen, I look forward to actually getting together. I know we were talking just briefly before the show started, and you said you're going to be leaving here this week. But if we can't do lunch this week, then definitely I would like to take you out next time you're back in town. So let's be sure to do that. Garen, real quickly, I also just want to point out your website real fast as well. So we got Guarantee Photography. Guys, go check this work out. He's amazing. If you know somebody getting married in the New England area or even in Arizona, definitely make sure to give Garen a call. He's obviously a talented photographer. So, Garen, with that, you ready to talk about some of these images?
do it. I'm excited.
Awesome. All right, so let's pull up this first shot. And I'm actually going to pull your camera away for just a second so everybody can see the whole thing.
Sure.
I love that little sun flare in the corner there. So, Garen, tell us about this photo.
So walked into this venue. Been there many times before. Obviously, this barn is ridiculously gorgeous. It stands out. It's the first thing you kind of see as you walk in. Obviously, knew I wanted to be put something, do something in there, whether it was in the doorways or in the the areas down below or something. We were at cocktail hour and the sun was just starting to peak down, and I thought it would just make an absolutely perfect sun flare coming over the building. So just kind of grabbed them at cocktail hour and walked over and actually talked to the coordinator, and I was like, hey, is there any chance we could get up in that top area? And she was like, yeah, no problem. So we made our way up these crickety old stairs, and just kind of everything perfectly came together. I mean, the sky was gorgeous. The flare was perfect. Obviously, spent about 4 or 5 minutes shooting there, and the sun actually worked out perfectly, just kind of on the tip of the top of the building there. So just a little sphere on the right, or camera right. Had my assistant up there, and that's pretty simple. It was kind of in a simple shot, and but it just turned out so pretty. So.
Yeah, it is really pretty. I'm wondering, when you did the exposure on this, did you kind of purposely? I love how the barn is just barely underexposed, but enough where you can see all the details. Like, it's not dark.
Yeah,
Was that something that was kind of going through your mind, or was that more in post processing?
no, I mean, it was a little bit of post, but I definitely had to underexpose just for the ambient of the sky.
Uh huh.
Um, I definitely had to make sure that those we could see those clouds and that blue sky was kind of popping. But yeah, it was definitely one of those things where you had to, especially with the sunflower, I knew I had to go. My aperture had to be really, really, high, which f13 or so. I think I
Yeah.
shot it at. So I wanted to make sure that everything was super in focus, and then we got that kind of that crazy sun flare. So when you're shooting that sun flare, you can always go from like f8 to f16 or whatever. We'll always make it kind of, hopefully, depending on obviously what lens you use,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had that, like I said, I had that thing where I wanted to really have them pop, and that sky pop, and then have the barn kind of be the frame. So.
That's beautiful. I love how you went the extra mile too to ask them if you can go up on top, because oftentimes in something like this, it's like, oh, well, let's just shoot it down in front by these doors. But what's so great about the top part there is you have all that clean space right around the couple where there's nothing distracting. So that lighting them up in that kind of dark area, it just makes them really pop. Looks beautiful, man.
Yeah, I think it was kind of lucky that I opened the bottom doors and there was kind of a lot of like crap right there. So it actually worked out great that I was like, okay, let's get them up there. Let's put them where they kind of stand out a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'm a nut. I'm all willing to climb and claw and do anything I can to get the coolest angle. So.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Hey, Garen, before we go on to your next image, there's a question that came up from Michael, and I think this is a good question for anybody in the photo industry. He's just asking here, he says, how has COVID impacted your business? Um,
Mike, I've been pretty lucky. I had a bunch of reschedules this past spring and early summer, 2020, obviously. So I got lucky with rescheduling for this year. I kind of bent over backwards for my couples and made sure that they were happy. I know a lot of the industry is having a tough time, and especially with deposits and things like that. So I just tried to work as hard and as fast as I could to get people in the right dates, and tried to like push them in the directions of Fridays and Sundays for this year. So impact wise, I mean, it was from I think in New England we were a little bit more affected than a lot of the states out there, as
yeah.
far as like what the governor allowed us to have. Allowed us to do. So we were pretty handcuffed from the beginning of the summer. But once August came, we kind of started to roll a little bit, and people just kind of went with the punches and
Yeah.
downside and things like that. So I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had I had one cancellation out of, I think, 36 or 37 weddings. So.
That's awesome. So you're able to reschedule most of them. I like that idea of kind of telling people like, hey, shoot for those Fridays, the Sundays.
Right.
Even I actually shot a Monday wedding about a month ago, and I
Yeah.
loved it. It was great because
It,
the family came in. They were able to spend the whole weekend together, here in Arizona, and they actually were a destination here to Arizona. And then they had their wedding Monday, and then the next day they all packed up and went home. So it was a ton of fun for them.
it worked out great. And those mini elopement things, those micro weddings, they actually were perfection. I mean, they were really, really great because I think people just really just focused on what was important.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. Well, let's jump into this next photo here. So here's the
Cool.
barn, and then this one we actually have a BTS on. So as you're talking about it, I might switch
Okay.
over and show the BTS as well.
Cool. I shot this wedding actually in South Carolina, and the wedding venue was a brick kind of old mill building like this. Um, So we were actually kind of going from one area to the next inside the building because it was kind of hot outside. And it just caught my eye. It's funny because if you show the BTS, you'll see the wedding coordinator she's hounding me to get them back to cocktail hour. So second shooter, my second shooter's there holding the flowers. So what I did here was, I just needed to make it quick and fast. I had a grid and a sphere on the flash already, an AD200, and I had my assistant kind of pull the sphere off and just kind of grid her. What I ended up having to do was to make Harold in the background stand out the groom. Was just have another person, which I think was the one. It was either like the assistant wedding coordinator, just hold the flash for me in the background with a red gel on it. And it actually, I think it had a sphere as well, so it just kind of spread the light all over the back wall, just to silhouette him. And I just hit her with a little grid. Obviously, with being fast and making sure, sometimes I get a little, out of sorts. And you want to like make sure that everybody's happy and get them, to cocktail hour so they're not missing too much. I wish I had maybe thought about it a little bit more and maybe hit her kind of from the right side, camera right. But I ended up hitting her from the left, camera left side, which made some cool shadows on her face. And I think it gives a little bit of more of a dramatic look. But yeah, like you said, in wedding days, things can go nuts and crazy. And you're just looking to make sure that you're precise and doing what your best you can. And I think that's what makes MagMod great, is that it's quick, it's fast. You can have that. I keep my pockets are usually bulging out like crazy. I've got gels and all the kinds of crap like that in my pants and in my jacket. So, but yeah, it's easy to kind of go in and out and make sure things are looking great and not having to set up this crazy photo shoot for them. So.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. That's one of my favorite things to do too, is just kind of put the MagSpheres and so forth in my pocket. I just want to ask, so on this image here, you were mentioning that the camera or the flash was hitting her from the left. So where your assistant is standing here, was she the one holding? Oh, I can see it right above the assistant's head, is that it right there?
Above, I think it's actually on a stand above her head, here's head. And then I had her hold that speed light, which has the red gel on it, behind the groom there. So I had her. We tried a different couple of things. Like I tried to put it behind his feet. It just wasn't really doing so hot. So I had to move it off to the left there.
Got it. So she picked it up from the ground, the one that's on the bottom, and held it just a little bit off. You can almost see just barely where a little bit of a hot spot on the wall, or I should say hotter compared to the rest. I can kind of see how that is. Awesome. I actually, it's funny. Garen, you were mentioning that you didn't know if you liked it from the left. I actually think it worked really, really well here, because cool. it is that hard light, and you have her shadow kind of being cast on the wall, which I think looks really, really cool.
I was happy. I was a little not happy with it when I took the picture, because I was like, we just quick, maybe it's a throwaway. We'll see what happens. But when I got it in post, I thought, oh wow, this really is nice. We could make this work. And like I said, I talked to a couple people. What do you think? And they said, oh, I love the hard light. I think it's cool with the shadows on the left side of her face, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, no, I like it a lot.
Photographer, I always nitpick.
We're always our worst critics, man. Always. Right on. Well, so what about this one now? And this one actually, it's funny when I see it, the first thing I think is, if I would have shot this, I probably wouldn't have got nearly as creative and awesome as you did. I probably would have put them in the dark black area, lit them up, called it done, right? But here you actually did something even more creative in the front. So tell us about this one.
Well, it's funny because I have to give a shout out to my wife, Robin. We were driving into this venue, and she doesn't shoot with me, but sometimes she'll prop along. There was bushes, these heart bushes, and it actually just happened to be Valentine's Day, which was incredible. And she saw them and she goes, look at that bush, and that's going to be so cool if you do something with that. And it just got my mind going. And towards the end, this is actually at Villa Sienna, which is, I'm sure, I don't know if you've shot there before, but
yeah, in Gilbert,
yeah. So I just kind of came up with an idea of let's because the bush is green. And I thought, let's wait till nighttime and light the bush up with a red gel to make it, be very Valentine's Day-esque. And then I just hit them with a grid from the right there. So 2 grids on 2 different speed lights. I think there maybe an 8200 on them, and then maybe just a regular speed light on the ground up against the bush there. So, and I just tried to, have them be as romantic as possible. Her dress was insane. It's got those kind of like, Stevie Nicks arms, and it was really, really pretty. So I wanted to highlight as much as I can. Obviously, I wish I'd had his arm underneath it, but Oh, thanks, Aniket. Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of, obviously there was some lights in the background from the venue and had to do some post on that, but it really came out well, and it's one of my favorites.
It is super cool. I really like that, and I know exactly the venue you're talking about, and I don't ever recall heart shaped bushes. That must be something new over there, or maybe I
Maybe
just
they.
didn't see it.
Oh yeah, we got lucky.
Yeah, yeah. I know they have those very well manicured bushes in the courtyards and all that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, Garen, but the next time I shoot a wedding there, if I find heart shaped bushes, rest assured I will be doing a shot like that.
I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing it. I know you're going to create something epic as well. So
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, Rob agrees. He says sweet idea. I saw Lorenzo was saying hi from Ireland. So big shout out from Ireland there. And then I just wanted to, again, before we jump on to the next image really quickly here, Michael was just giving you kind of a cool, he's just telling us he's relocating, still building his craft and work, and sharing my work on Facebook and Instagram. It's the way to do it, Michael.
yep, keep sharing, keep working hard, keep practicing. I can't even thank the MagMod community enough for what they've done as far as these just learning about everything from start to finish. I was kind of a natural A photographer. I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in the beginning of my career, and thank goodness for you guys and the community and how much help you guys do with everybody. And it's just like people are so willing to share, and it's just such a cool place. And I can't say enough about my development with the help of the MagMod communities with my career. So
No, I love that. I love that you brought that up. I actually I'm going to pull up just in case if somebody is watching that is not familiar with the MagMod community. So we do these lives on the MagMod Facebook page, but we also have this community. So again, there's what is it, 77,000 right now that are in there,
uh,
almost 78,000. But guys, if you're not a member of the community, definitely join, because the cool thing about it is when somebody shares a photo. So like here's a photo from Neil, for example, Neil Redfern, amazing photographer out in the UK.
amazing.
He has included a video here so people can watch. Or Cole Harper, she actually the idea behind the MagMod community is when you share a photo that you have to share a caption of how you created it. So they'll tell you exactly, MagGel, MagSphere, etc. So definitely jump in there if you're not already a member. Come join us. And it's a great place, a great learning resource. So, and Garen, appreciate you being in there and the photos that you've shared as well. So
Hey,
good
oh
stuff.
man, I should, I feel like I need to share more. I don't I don't take that many BTS because I'm so running fast and my head's going nuts. So, but yeah, I'm
So
definitely working being more translucent and sharing more posts. So
my issue is I shoot with a lot of prime lenses, and so I'm shooting, and then I'll move on to the next spot, and I don't think about like just going wide out and shooting a big behind the scenes. I need
yeah,
somebody just following me with like a iPhone or something. But I remember one time I did shoot with the, what was it, 2870, that big beast lens that comes with the mirrorless, the Canon mirrorless, and I
yep,
actually was shooting more behind the scenes. I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Might be worth it, but it's just too big of a lens for me to use on a day. Cause I get tired, man.
so heavy.
I'm too old for this. So,
Getting there.
right on. Well, Garen, let's jump in. Oh, hold on. There's a few more comments real quickly here. Mauricio's an amazing photographer as well. What modifier does he use for the couple on the bush shot?
So two grids, one grid on the bush and one grid on them. The grids are amazing. I think that's probably the most used item, especially for shots like this and for me in receptions. I use grids a lot for pinpointing the light in certain spots. So you like to use the reception space, how it looks to your eye, because a lot of people just kind of like light it up, make it look super bright. And I like to, capture the moments and make those the main focus of the reception. And it works great in like getting ready as well. Like if you want to pinpoint a little light on the bride while she's doing her makeup, you kind of dumb the ambient all the way down in the room and things like that. So grids are definitely the most amazing thing. And the fact that they're like small, they fit in your back pocket for men, I guess, that wear pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely easy in and out. I always have 3 or 4 grids in my pocket at the end of the night. And just like, where did these grids go? Where are they? So it's definitely the most used item, I think.
I love that. Again, I don't know how to say the name. Suhail, maybe Ahmed. He's asking if you happen to have that shot without the gel. I
I
I think
I might like the raw file somewhere that I can like brighten up just to show you exactly what it looked like. It's basically we're right to the right of them is a road that goes into the venue, and it's just an
yeah.
open space and a bush on the left side of the road. So it's actually kind of a gross spot. It's not really that great, but bringing everything down and making it look black and then light and then using the light to paint, which is kind of the important part. So.
And Julie's asking, how long do you spend setting something like this up?
This was simple. We actually shot the venue there has a beautiful like old like castle looking front. So we actually shot a couple things there with the mag box. Lit them up in front with kind of at night. And then we just moved 10 feet over, and I literally had my assistant hold the speed light on the bush, and we put on a 8200 on the stand and just hit them. So it really only took about I took maybe 4 or 5 test shots, and then boom, we hit it. It was literally like 5 or 6 minutes.
That's awesome. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Hey, Lorenzo also, he made a comment. In fact, I'll just toss it up here real quick. He's talking about the MagMod community, about definitely being a good place to kind of go beyond the safe shot and try something different on a different angle. And I love how you actually kind of touched on that just a second ago. You had mentioned that, hey, I went out there, we shot a few different shots, and then it was kind of like, all right, let's just knock this one out real quick. And I think it's fun. If you guys haven't done this, I think it's fun to have some inspiring shots like on your phone somewhere where, you do some of those safe shots and then you go, oh, I want to do this one. And sometimes it might even be inspiring from your last wedding. You might have shot
Right.
a photo and you're like, oh, but then when you're in the moment, you can't think of like what you want to do. And then you go back and you go, oh yeah, that time that I used the purple and orange gel at the same time or whatever.
And
So
I think it's cool and it's important that like the people will see this, on your website or on your Instagram, and that they ask for it. I mean,
mhm.
and we've heard times before, and people are always like, "Oh, we love the cigar shot," or "We love that. Can we have this?" I
Yeah,
think it's just super super important to have that stuff and to share, to really like share your stuff and get out there. I know it's nerve wracking and it's tough to share, but the more you share, and that's actually how I learned photography was in a landscape photo group. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
kind of just learned online and figured it out from there. So I think sharing is very important, and it's okay to be open and I know it hurts sometimes when you think something's good and then somebody bashes it, but that's what's cool about the MagMod community is no one's going to do that to you, and they're just going to give you, a nice, honest criticism. If you ask for it, they'll tell you, but but
yeah,
but they're usually great about everything. So
yeah. No, awesome. Good stuff, man. Love it.
yeah,
By the way, if
yeah,
somebody
cool.
does bash your work, just go look at their portfolio and they probably have a couple bad photos of their cat and that's about it. So, all right. This one's amazing. I actually wish we would have talked about this just a few days ago during the holiday. It's kind of what it reminds me of. But tell us about this shot.
So I mean I can't even give enough props to the plants, Moira and Jesse. I know you've had them on a couple times.
Yeah,
They are just like a creative team, and I think we all just strive to copy them and be as great as they are. So I definitely got that from them, and I know they'll appreciate it. I know that obviously being copying somebody is the greatest form of flattery, right?
sure.
But yeah, I had a couple that were interested in having something different done, and we kind of did a regular engagement session, and then at the end of the day, we found some kind of during the dark time, we found some cool time, and I had ordered some of this holy powder, and we had a blast. We just kind of threw it around and did crazy stuff with it. I have all kinds of cool shots with it, but this is one most stands out to me. And I thought was the most romantic. So I
It,
think, yeah, it was
go
definitely
ahead.
like, but so again, grids, very simple. Two light stands, two 200s. I think it was like 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock, kind of hitting them from the sides on each side, and just kind of getting. We actually didn't have anybody with us, so the pink holy powder is actually thrown by the guy by Eric. So he did an unbelievable job. I don't know how he did it, where he got it to hit himself in the head with it, but get his arm down in time. But
That's exactly what I was just about to ask. I was going to say, like, what in the world? How did he? So did he just toss it up? Is that what he did?
must have, yeah, he must have had a whole clump of it and just kind of threw it up in the air. But I can't really remember. It was maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, or
Okay.
something like that. But I don't remember exactly what happened. But he did such a good job, and I thought it turned out so great. And they had already been like playing and going crazy, and I was having them slap their hands on their shirts and make it because it just looked kind of cool, looked very, fun and colorful.
Yeah. Well, at first when I saw it, I was thinking that maybe, whoops, move this camera out of the way here. I was thinking maybe that somebody threw something from behind, but you're saying he just tossed it up, it came down, kind of exploded on his head, and that was where
Yeah,
you caught the action.
I'm pretty sure we did it 3 or 4 times, but I think this one definitely took the cake. And there's probably a few outtakes that are not great. But like I said, experiment, do some fun stuff. I always have, like I said, I
Yeah,
got this from Jesse, and I'm pretty sure that Jesse the Plan and they were the first ones to do it because it was such a. When I saw it, I was like blown away. I thought it was so cool, and I
that is
thought,
cool.
it's such a cool idea for couples to do something different than your cookie cutter. Like, let's go to a
Yeah.
field and take some pictures. But they want that. But at the end of the day, let's do something fun for them that can create either a huge wall print or something cool they can put in their office or something like that.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. For some reason I can't switch my camera back to you over here. There we go. There it goes. It's like they had to look at the ugly webcam there.
I don't.
Hey,
I think it's just it was basically the two grids on them from about up high 45 degrees down on them from about 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
I always love just looking at the shadows on people and being able to dissect kind of like how tall or where those lights were placed. And so again, if you're watching this, guys, and you're looking at this image, just look under the cheek, that shadow that comes down under the cheek or under his nose. You can kind of see the placement of how far up those lights are. And being able to lift them up just about a foot higher, allows you to kind of get those shadows and stuff. So, I'm not sure. Michael had mentioned, he says, don't tempt me with some trash talking. I'm not sure which trash talking. You have to give me some clarity there, Mike.
I'll trash talk with the best of them, Mike. Let me know.
and then of course he says we're all fanboys of Jesse LaPlante. Michael might be one of the biggest. He loves Jesse as well. Jesse and Moira, they're great people.
So nice, yeah.
Yeah. And then before we go to the last image here, Mauricio saying, I always do my best to shoot BTS short videos or photo in order to share. Sometimes this running and gunning doesn't allow me, but yeah, MagMod community is a great inspiration. Totally agree with you, Mauricio. Good stuff. Actually, we got to get Mauricio on here.
Yeah. He's awesome.
So let's do this last shot over here, Garen. And this is one of those that I can see a shot like this being at like the last page of somebody's photo album. They open it up, the very last page, and they get this classic, beautiful image. Tell us about how you shot this one.
Well, you nailed it. They actually put this on a huge spread right on the back of their album. So, yeah, these two are just two gorgeous human beings. This was a winter wedding in Vermont, super snowy and cold outside. So we spent a lot of time inside. Shout out to the Mountaintop Resort in Chittenden, Vermont. They're the best. But yeah, we spent this time, and I actually had some time at the end of the night. They had a pretty good buzz on, and they were like super keen on being around each other. So we shot a bunch of different things with grids behind in the dark. We kind of took this little space that we had. It's really just kind of like a room upstairs, ambient down all the way, and just kind of played with flash behind them, in front of them, from the sides a little bit. And this is actually one of my favorites. I probably shot 5 or 6 frames of this, and just the one with the light coming through her chin was just super, super cute. And I just loved everything about it. And I knew immediately that I was going to turn into black and white. And they just fell over head over heels for it. So they were loved. And they're just like super romantic. These two are the most in love people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome.
So it was really, really nice. And to create something like really, really romantic for them was fun. So, but just a simple grid and AD200 from behind. I put it on a stand. I try to hide it, obviously, behind them. And I just kind of had the grid try to hit his face and light her face up a little more. So you can see he's more, rim lighted, and she's got a little bit more light on her face. So sometimes I try to get her, like, I'm sure you've heard this before, but get her a little bit more in front so the light hits his face and then hits hers and lights her up. I just happened to catch that beautiful, like, flare coming under her chin, which worked out perfectly. So.
Garen, I just want to ask you, when you're setting up a shot like this, is there anything in particular that you tell the clients or that you do in order to capture this? Because I know this is one of those circumstances where it's kind of like you shoot a few different shots or maybe a lot of different shots, and you just hope you get that one kind of moment. So is there anything that you do yourself or that you tell the clients to do in order to try to make this work well?
I'm just talking to them the whole time. I'm just saying, you guys don't understand what's going to happen here, but I want you just to kind of be romantic with each other, get them in the pose, and then just have them kind of talk to each other and talk to me, laugh a little bit, smile, and just kind of move yourself around You know, that definitely a nice way to do it. I think, you know, if you're just kind of standing there shooting, they don't quite understand what to do. I think it's very important for you to talk to your clients and, you know, make them feel comfortable and crack a joke. And, you know, with the best of them, Travis, you got to definitely keep them laughing and do
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, but yeah, yeah, I think it's just chatting with them, making sure that they're comfortable. And I think once you show them afterwards what's going on, they're like, holy crap, like that's insane, you know,
Yeah.
because behind there's like a bunch of chairs and like they're stacked up in a wall, and so they don't get it. So I think it's important to show them what's definitely, if you're comfortable showing them on the back of the camera, most of the time they're like, oh, their minds are blown because they're like, what is going on? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rob had asked if you use MagSpheres as well. I think you had
Yeah.
showed a couple photos back there you were using it, but on this one you said you just use the grid. Is that right?
Just the grid, yeah, yeah. So the
Yeah.
grid, I mean, I think we were tight enough on, you know, their torsos that the grid was kind of good enough spread of light to kind of hit them, and I probably had a pretty high power on the flash.
Okay.
Um, so you know, I just kind of, because my ambient was way down.
Yeah.
So we definitely, but I use spheres all the time. I mean, constantly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a little bit more lazy than most as far as like carrying things around. As far as, you know, I love the mag box; it's insane, but sometimes pulling it out is not as easy to move around. And
Sure.
I'm a bull in a china shop, so when I'm going, I'm like, um, yeah. So I tend to keep the sphere most of the time for shots, and if there's something crazy epic outside and I need to really make the light spread like crazy, then I'll use the mag box. But most
Yeah.
of the time it's a sphere, and it's most of the time it's a sphere and a grid, just to kind of get that light fall off of their lower half of their bodies really nice. If you go in the community, you'll see tons of people using the sphere and grid to
Yeah.
make it, you know, really dramatic light.
You know, you had mentioned, I think, briefly earlier about possibly doing like stacking or having a few different grids in your pocket. Do you ever stack them? Like, do you do 2, 3, 4 grids at a time sometimes?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I like to shoot, like, sometimes I like to stagger couples,
Uh huh.
and light on the bride and get, you know, kind of a lower shot of the bride and the groom, you know, silhouetted in the background against the sky or something like that. So yeah, we love to stack. Stacking obviously makes the light go crazy, and even if you have a why am I drawing a blank here? The snoot. Even if you have a snoot,
Mm.
its snoot works. I shoot some, you know, portrait. I'll mess around myself sometimes and shoot self portraits, and the snoot's amazing. It works so great.
Yeah.
So that's something that fits in your back pocket too if you're not wearing skinny jeans.
That's true. That's true. And that's a good reason you shouldn't be wearing skinny jeans. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
so I will say, you know, as far as grids go, G-Tish was asking how many grids do you stack? I would say, you know, I 2, maybe 3 max. I typically don't go beyond 3. I think once you get to 4, you're losing so much flash power that you would have to find a really specific reason why you want to use a, because when you're stacking 4 grids on top of each other, you're getting about a 10% grid effect. So you're really pushing that light to just one specific, very, very small area. And so I usually do maybe 2, maybe 3 max, but typically it's just 1. And like you, I like to use a little MagSphere, mainly just to try to soften the edges, you know, in other
Right.
words, so that the light fall off is not just kind of harsh, boom. It's like it kind of transitions out from light to dark. So
And sometimes like ring shots are great for stacking grids.
there you go. That's a perfect example. Yeah. Abby, which I love this guy. He's out there in the New Jersey area. He says, I need to start sharing more Philadelphia, actually, if I remember right. Just
Oh,
keep
cool.
saving to make perfect posts, but should probably just go for it. Love all the inspiration from the group. Yes, you should, my friend. You should be
Absolutely.
sharing. And then Derek's ringing in as well, saying hello. So right on. I
Awesome.
think we covered them all. I think we covered the images that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I made you pick 5 of your incredible shots, and I sure appreciate you being here. I got a question for you. This is more of kind of just it's not photography related, but Garen, when I talk to you, I feel like you have a lot of charisma. Like you're just a very charismatic person. And I personally, when I talk to people at like workshops and stuff, I say one of the best attributes of a photographer is having charisma and being able to just, you know, have a good conversation with your clients and like you were saying, talk to them, make them laugh, so forth. Is there any tip you would give to people if they were trying to establish or kind of form their own charisma? Do you have a book or I don't know? Is there anything that you would tell people like how to get better at that?
I mean, I think charisma is, you know, obviously something you're born with, you know. But yeah, I mean, I tend to be just kind of super outgoing and
Mm-hmm.
happy, and I think the more. the more you're like friends with your clients, the better it is for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
be interested in what they post. If you become friends with them on social media, be interested, comment with them. You know, I tend to become friends with my clients very easily. I'm just a kind of happy-go-lucky person. But yeah, I think that just being over the top happy is people just lose their minds over it. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
kill him with kindness, kill him with kindness. And Gabby, she's funny. Um, yeah, so he just, I think it's just being genuine, really. I mean, be
Yeah.
genuine with people. Don't try not to be so fake. You know, not that people are fake, but you know, try not to,
Sure.
you know, just be yourself. Really, be yourself, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there and say, hey, you know, I'm nuts. So like you and Gabby will tell you, I'm a crazy person, especially on the wedding day. Like I'm all over the place. So you know, I'm a nutso. But you know, I like you said, be yourself. I think that's maybe the number one thing you can be is be yourself, and you know,
Yeah.
and you attract the people that you want to attract.
I like that. You know, I always tell people too, when you're on a wedding, have fun. Like I get it. It could be nervous, you know, and you could be, especially if it's your first couple weddings and you're one, you know, oh, am I going to get it? Am I going to do this right? But like, have fun with people. I mean, they want to have fun and they feed off your energy. So especially when you're with the bridal party and stuff. Um,
No doubt
Julie
about
had mentioned golf here, and it brings. We'll use this as our final question. Michael's asking, who's your favorite golfer?
it. That's tough. I mean, it's hard to get by Tiger Woods. I mean, I grew up with him, and I played pretty high level of golf. So yeah, I mean, Tiger Woods is up there. Freddie Couples was my favorite growing up. He was definitely like the swag doctor. But I mean, I love Rory. I love Jordan Spieth. I'm glad that he won yesterday. It was really cool. And we're here Masters Week, which is fitting for me because Masters Week is here, and if you're a golfer, it's like the best week of the year. So we're
That's awesome.
about that over here at Guaranteed Photography. We'll be sitting in front of the TV for hours at a time
I
this
love it.
weekend.
I love it. You know, I would be remiss if I finished this broadcast without two more quotes here. We got, it looks like Robin, which is your wife, right?
She's doing something weird. I don't know what's going on here.
She says he definitely has a lot of charisma. One thing I observed from the silence, he makes his bride so comfortable. You know who does this really well is Jerry Guionis. I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
watched Jerry's stuff,
Uh,
but if you watch his videos, he's always talking to the bride, always complimenting, talking about their eyes, whatever it is. But he makes the brides feel comfortable, and that's what your wife is attesting to there as well.
and I think it's no matter what you're doing, whether she looks good or not. I mean, I have four sisters, so I grew up with a house of girls. No matter what you do, just compliment them because every time you compliment them, it just grows their
Mm-hmm.
confidence. Not only does that help them be happy during the day, but it also helps them with posing and being
Mm-hmm.
confident like that because it's hard being in front of the camera. And girls have a hard time sometimes, you know, thinking, you know, they don't think they're good looking. They don't think that they're beautiful in their day. But if you just keep telling them that,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you think it or not. It's just important for them for their confidence. So
Absolutely, absolutely. This is important as well. Joanna is saying that you play well with the team. It's funny, we talked about the images now. Like this is getting into like a good wedding day tips, but this is important.
yeah, it's definitely important. Joanna's like she's such a rock star. We work together in Vermont a lot. She's such a great filmmaker and just a good friend. But yeah, I mean, don't be the person that's gonna be like snippy with people. Don't be that guy. I mean, if they're in your way, just say, hey guys, you mind if we move over? If they're in your, you know, videographers and photographers, I feel like have this crazy like I don't know, like this
Yeah.
crazy energy. For me, it's like I'm always pulling them in. Like, come on, let's go. Let's, you know, are you guys ready? You need your shot. You know that kind of thing is. And if you do that, then I mean, people are going to bend over backwards for you, no matter what you need or you know, anything you need. So, you know, they're always going to be like, oh, that person's awesome to work with, things like that. So I think being camaraderie in the business is so
Yes.
important. You know, whether you like somebody or not, it's because that person could, you know, refer you to somebody. And, you know, like I said, you're not going to spend your whole day with these people, you know, your whole lives with these people, but just be nice. It's like the common thing these days. Just be nice.
There you go. I think that's a
Yep.
good way to end it right there. I love it. I love it. It's so important. And you know, and it pays off in huge dividends. I tell my kids it's the karma will always you know, go after it will always be for the good people. In other words, you do good things and good things will happen to you. So um,
Beautiful, really beautiful family.
oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, Garen, like I said, I look forward to meeting you in person here soon. I feel bad that knowing that you're literally an hour from my house right now, and maybe I need to just get out of here and go grab lunch or something. But we'll have to figure something out. But I look forward to meeting you in person, if not this week when you get back to
Absolutely.
Arizona. I certainly appreciate you taking this time to spend some time here in the community and talking to other MagMod users and sharing your incredible talents with all of us. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you having me on. I was blown away by it. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode. We got a few more. Well, I shouldn't say a few more. We got about 10 more scheduled throughout the month of April. So we're really excited to get all these incredible folks on here. If you guys have any questions or if you have people that you think should be featured on the How I Shot It episodes, feel free to let me know either here on the MagMod page or on YouTube. Be happy to reach out to these people. Biggest thing is I just love talking and getting to know other MagMod users because seriously, you all inspire me just like Garen did today. So appreciate you guys. Thanks again, Garen.
thanks, guys.
You rock. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day and a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye.